Hi kids, welcome to lesson 1. Today we're going to learn some important skills so you can learn how to write a short essay. So there are lots of things you need to know, but let's look at skill number 1. Skill number 1 is here on your right. We've got outlining. What does outlining mean? Outlining is basically the same as plan. So if you have a really good plan before you start writing your essay, then writing the essay is actually so easy. So when you make a plan, you already know exactly what you're going to write. We'll look at an example in a little bit. Let's look at the second skill we're going to learn. That's the semicolon. Semicolon, you might recognize it, is this one here, okay? So this punctuation. What is a semicolon? Very easy and simple. It's the same as a full stop, but the two sentences, sentence A and B, they must be related, like a family, okay? So if they are talking about something similar, yeah, a similar subject, then you use a semicolon instead of full stop. Exclamation mark, super easy. I'm sure you know this. It's this one here. Why do we use an exclamation mark? We are surprised. Maybe we want to say, this is really important. Then an exclamation mark is what you use. Next, this is probably new, okay? Simile. A simile is a very useful writing technique that you use to help you explain some image more clearly. So instead of saying, the boy was tall, that would be very nice and easy. We know he's tall. But a simile, we want to make him seem really tall. We understand, we want the reader to imagine this clearly, okay? So what can we say instead? We can say the boy was as tall as a mountain. You know a mountain is very high already, but if he is as tall as a mountain, it's not true, right? He's not really same as mountain. He's here, mountain's here. But a simile, you compare one image, like a mountain, to what you are describing, the boy. And when you do that, we imagine in our heads, wow, he is not just tall, he's tall, okay? That is a simile, and it's really useful to use. And then adjectives. I'm going to teach you a nice, easy way to find lots of good adjectives. Instead of using fun, good, bad, the same words over and over, we can use more interesting language to make your writing A+. Let's look at the task that we are going to try together today, okay? I'm going to teach you how to write the answer to this. So take a look. We've been given a topic. The topic is memories of the school year. Try and understand that. What does that mean, memories of the school year? Memory is something that you enjoyed or remember, or anyway, something that you remember from the past. So 기억, right? And then we've got the school year. That just means the time you went to school this last year. So from like January until recently, what do you remember from this last year? And this is the writing that we are going to do. Now, we have some examples here of some kind of items that you can talk about, okay? We've got the most fun activity. Yeah, hopefully you understand that. We have the biggest challenge. That one is a bit negative. So what was difficult? What did you struggle with? What did you struggle with means what did you find difficult? And what is your memory of that? We also have most exciting moment. When were you so excited? What do you remember? We have most embarrassing moment. Embarrassing, maybe you don't want to choose that one. Maybe you don't have any embarrassing memories. And then we have the best thing of all about this year at school. So what was the best moment in your whole year? We are going to try this one here, most fun activity. What did you really enjoy? Activity is something you do more than once, okay? It can't just be one time, it has to be something you did many times, maybe every week, maybe every day, okay? Your favorite activity. We're going to start with the outlining. I told you before, right? Outlining is so important. It is the planning stage. When you guys are writing, when you kids are writing something, I know it's really hard. What do I write? I can't think of anything. I have no ideas. Where do I start? Okay. So here's my list. This is what I do. This is what you should do to think of a nice paragraph or a nice plan. Okay. So first of all, you think about who. Who was there when you were doing this fun activity? Was it just you by yourself? Was it your teacher there? Was it your friends? Was it an animal? It doesn't matter, okay? Think about who. I have to include that in my writing to make it more interesting. Then we have what. What was the activity? What happened? What was the item or the subject or the object? It doesn't matter, okay? But you need to think about what, and you must include that as well. Third thing, where? Was it in your classroom, in the lunch hall? Think about where it happened and think about what it looks like, right, at the same time. When? Was it 2 months ago? Was it last week? Was it every day that you did it? Or was it just once a week? Emotion. How did you feel, right? Were you happy? Were we sad? Excited? Many different emotions. Again, you have to include that. Why? This one is, you don't have to include this every time, but maybe there's a reason you enjoyed something, right? Then you can use that for extra detail to make your writing a bit more interesting. And then when you are describing something so that somebody who is reading your writing can understand exactly what you could see, what you could smell, everything. The description must be very powerful. To do that, you can think about these senses. Senses like hearing, smelling, seeing, whatever, yes? So look at my list. Taste, look, feel, smell, see, hear. All very important to include. All makes your writing more interesting. Okay, so let's try it now. Let's try and put together a nice paragraph together. Hopefully you are following along okay. Let's try this together. Look at what I've got here. I've already planned this a little bit, but let's try and see why I've done this and see if you understand. So this is our brainstorming and planning phase, okay? So my most fun activity that I've chosen is going to be eating lunch, okay? And now I need to add all the detail that I just talked about before. So who was there? It was with my friends. And then I've added a bit of extra detail. There were 3 of them. I could just say friends, but why not? We can make our writing longer and more interesting, yes? Where? Where did this happen? It was in the dining room, okay? And where is the dining room? A bit of extra detail. In the back of the school, okay? When? It was every day. Every day we had lunch. Very simple. I could add some more detail. I could add the time maybe, say like every day at 12 p.m. And then we had, looking at the next part, we had emotion and we also have what, okay? So what was it and how did I feel about it? Emotion we've got down here. I'm happy. Happy to play, have funny jokes and games during lunch, right? And then here we've got what. So we've got different everyday, sometimes delicious food, sometimes not. I've also got an example here. Using an example is a very good way to get more words and also make your writing clearer, okay? So hopefully you understand this planning stage. I know exactly what I am going to talk about. Now let's put it together into draft 1, okay? Draft 1 is not the final form, okay? This is just the way that we look at joining all the sentences. So I've joined it together. My most fun activity is eating lunch every day when with my 3 friends. We eat in the dining room at the back of the school every day. The food is sometimes delicious and sometimes not. So sometimes very tasty, sometimes it's not. The chicken is bad and the pasta is good. I feel happy making jokes and playing games. So it's our brainstorming made the writing so easy. We just join it up. And that is step 1, okay? Now, this is fine, this is good, this is okay, but we want to make it better. We want to make it more interesting, more detailed, more exciting. The next thing we can do is include the other skills: simile, punctuation, semicolon, exclamation mark, and using better adjectives. So let's look at what I did here. Instead of my most fun, I've changed it for enjoyable. You might be wondering where you can find better words. Oh, I don't know how to find it. You need to go to a website called, and I will write it here for you, thesaurus.com. We can take a look at it later, but you must use this in your writing. I use this every day when I'm writing, even at the high level, at university, high school, doesn't matter. This is a very, very useful website, so make sure you remember that. Now, my most enjoyable activity is eating lunch every day with my 3 best friends. So instead of just friends, adding best friends, an adjective to make this more interesting, okay? So this is an adjective. This is, we've used a synonym, a better synonym. Where do we eat? We eat in the small dining room, not just dining room. You can add anything to describe it. Maybe you could say loud. Maybe you could say far away. It doesn't matter. It's up to you to explain a bit more detail. The small dining room at the back of the school. The food is sometimes delicious and sometimes not. You can see here now we use a semicolon. Remember what I said about semicolon. It is when you have 2 sentences that are friends, they're sisters, they're related. Then we use the semicolon. The food is sometimes delicious and sometimes not. The chicken tastes like da 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 da. Chicken is the same subject as the food. We're talking about the same thing. In that case, semicolon. Let's carry on. The chicken tastes like old shoes. That's our simile. Instead of just the chicken tastes bad, that's okay, we understand. But the chicken tastes like old shoes. Oh, it's very dry, it's rubbery, it's not tasty at all. This is what we use a simile for. But the pasta is flavorful. We've got another better adjective that I found from thesaurus.com to improve it, make it more exciting. Here, I am content. Instead of just saying happy, we are saying content. And then playing games like chess. So we're using an example. When you use an example, your writing is more rich. It's more powerful. And then finally, exclamation mark to give it more interest. So it's very simple. Let's read the whole thing together. My most enjoyable activity is eating lunch every day with my 3 best friends. Try and copy after me. We eat in the small dining room at the back of the school. The food is sometimes delicious and sometimes not. You can see what I did there. I said the food is sometimes delicious, pause, and sometimes not. You add all of this together to make it faster. You will learn this as we go, but sometimes you're fast, sometimes you're slow. The chicken tastes like old shoes, but the pasta is flavorful. I am content making jokes and playing games like chess. Lovely, easy. We've done the plan, the outline, first draft, second draft. And that is how you write your short piece of writing. Hopefully you've learned some important skills. You can practice this yourself. I will give you the next topic to plan. The next one will be my biggest challenge. Try that one and use these skills and see how it goes. I'll see you in the next lesson.